Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, hi, my name is Haley. I'm a cashless budgeter and caregiver who's working in a relationship with finances as well as working towards financial freedom. Thank you guys for coming and watching our DEBTOBER monthly wrap up. I guess is the best way to put that. We did technically finish DEBTOBER last week when I paid off one of my student loans. I thank you guys for following me on that journey as well. But today we're going to actually look at my budget spread for the last half of October. And I already have more news, I guess, in that my savings, or at least part of my savings, was blown again. So I guess this is the mark of a restart on top of the restart we already had. It's a long story. I'll get to it. And sorry if I'm shaking the desk. And if you can hear my neighbor's dog barking. It's been a day. It's been a week. It's been a month, to say the least. But we're going to get through it and figure it out together. So, for my full-time, my check was $1,064.89. Woo to the payoff for Stafford 1. I did make a payment towards my Direct Plus loan, though. I made the same $200. I'm going to put a 0 there because it didn't have anything in the first half. And 200 here. Alright, barring tides, the difference between what I budget for the month and 10% of this $1,064 was $11. So and $11 additional got sent for tides. Household didn't have any bills for this half. The increase in my personal bills, mostly for my share of bills for things like internet and whatnot, went up. So I just went ahead and kept it in my budget for this month. Gosh, my handwriting is terrible today, guys. I'm sorry in advance. So yeah, and then again, I over budget for insurance just because change and whatnot I don't really like to deal with in my budget. So I budgeted $189 and it was $181.57. Now the fun part, that I will probably write in red for the moment. So, as I've mentioned in an earlier video, I did have it wasn't really a fender bender, really, so much as there was some damage done to my car, and I got a quote for basically the repair cost of all of that. And thus far it's been around a total of $1,600-ish, give or take. I know cars are expensive. I was not necessarily shocked in that regard, and quite honestly, I am grateful because I basically I emptied the bulk of my car binder and what I had built up or was building up in my rainy day fund, and was able to cover that with a debit card. Now, I know that it was frustrating, to say the least, to have to basically restart what I've already restarted again, but at the same time, it was kind of an invigorating moment, or at least a reinvigorating moment, to actually be able to cover something like that with a debit card. Like, I had to pull it from savings, but I didn't have to put it on credit. I did not add to my debt in any way, shape, or form. I was just able to have it up front to pay for. Again, that's the total estimate right now. I already paid part of it in order for the parts to be ordered, and then my car will be worked on once the parts arrive. And I have a final total after that. So just in case my rainy day fund and my car binder does not cover the totality, or something is found, sorry for shaking the desk, something is found along the way, which there shouldn't be, but still going to prepare for that anyway. So what I'm going to do is take at least $200 from my check, if I can write it, here in the other category and I'm going to basically label it as car repair. So this would be just in case they come back and say, hey, we had to like fill in a crack somewhere, or, you know, little paint job done, or additional scratches, or whatever the case may be. I want to keep a buffer for that in addition to what my estimate was. So this $200, put a question mark because it may or may not be reallocated in the future. I don't know. I won't know until my car is completely fixed. But I'm going to just earmark it for right now as an other bill until that gets situated. Then if it's not needed, then it'll go into my savings. Probably back into my rainy day fund and car binder. But if it is used, then, you know, it was there for a said reason. So it was used for what it should have been used for. All right? So leaving that, I'm going to fill out the rest of my variable savings. These are automatic withdrawals, same numbers every month thus far. I don't believe I'm going to increase any of these, at least not for November. I'm just going to keep them the same. I'll probably keep them the same for the rest of the year, to be honest. So $5 a week for future home every Monday. So was it $20? And my pen randomly starts running out in the middle of me writing. Anyway, care credit got a total of $8. My emergency fund got its monthly $20, and this $20 gets dispersed into my bills buffer binder. All right, as far as retirement, my Roth, and my brokerage account, my Roth got its monthly $25, and my brokerage account gets $5 weekly, so that was $20 as well. Travel got its monthly $15. And as far as restuffing is concerned, I do not have a number for that because, again, I'm earmarking it for any additional car repairs, or basically a buffer for my car repair. So that's going to be blank for right now. And if I do have some money left over and I can restuff it, I'll just move it down to my budget. And then as far as intentional spending is concerned, which got the rest of this change, which was $58.88. And 88 cents went to my account buffer. All right, so that's my full-time. As far as part-time is concerned, I already had it pre-filled out, and I was actually starting this when I got my final estimate for my car. I had to flip this around. Anyway, but I already had my part-time filled out for what it was, and I don't use my part-time for actual bills anyway, so it wasn't that big of a deal. For my second check of my part-time, it brought in $369.24. Of that, I did not have to make a Stafford loan payment because it was already paid off. I put $225 towards my Direct Plus loan. For tithes, it's 10% of what I brought in, so that's $37. My Roth 401k contributions get taken out before my check comes in. That was $26.29. For restuffing, I kept $100 to go into my savings. As far as my savings is concerned, my part-time thus far is only going into 2 binders. One is going to be introduced beginning of November, and the other is my future home binder. Those I consider more longer-term binders that are not a part of my full-time check, with the exception of this automatic $5. That is one challenge in my future home binder, but the rest of my full-time check does not go to these 2 binders anyway, so I decided to just keep it on my part-time check. All right, so between those two, it was $100, and so remaining / gas, it was $0, but I decided to keep the change in my buffer account, so my buffer received $7.24. All right, that was short, sweet, simple, straight to the point. I don't have anything else necessarily coming up. This layout for my part-time may or may not change in November. I don't know. Mostly because I had this conversation elsewhere, and you guys feel free to chime in too. But I am getting extremely burnt out, and I'm not saying that I am abandoning my goals in any way, shape, or form. I don't want to do that. Obviously, debt payoff is still one of the most immediate goals, at least, in order to build my other goals that I have. But as far as part-time contributions are concerned, I might be going with a different approach because, again, it's part-time for one, so hours are really variable outside of my dedicated assigned days, and I've been picking up shifts and working extra hours and everything else thus far to get my student loans gone. But I feel as though I'm in a really good spot. Not saying I'm comfortable with being where I am. Comfortable will be debt-free entirely. But I am contemplating on basically pumping the brakes so that I don't completely burn out and then, not be able to reach my non-debt related goals because I am so dead on focus and putting all my energy towards that I can't function outside of being, I guess as Dave Ramsey puts it, gazelle intense. So that'll probably be an update next month when I make a decision or try to play around to see what it could look like, because what I've thought of thus far that I am, I guess, okay with is that this pay period right now, that's happening right now, that'll lead into the beginning of November, I have not picked up any extra shifts. I've just worked the days that were assigned to me and the hours that were assigned to me, and that has been it. So I want to see what that looks like and see how that can fit into as far as my debt payoff is concerned, see how that can fit into my plans, and if I can alter it to where I don't feel so pressured to reach particular hours or particular performance points every single week, because that does get very exhausting. And then that depends on so many factors that are out of my control. Like if someone picks up their shift and doesn't, take time off, or decides that they're going to work extra to, meet whatever goals they have. And they get priority because they're full-time versus me being part-time, and all that stuff I can't do anything about. So it's going to be a work in progress. I hope you guys stick around to help and see what that looks like. But yeah, I'm just going to honestly roll with it at this point. Just test it out for this pay period, see how it goes, see what the numbers actually look like, and maybe change approaches, I guess, instead of having a budget number, maybe just go by percentages. I've thought about that too. Yeah, a lot is up in the air at this point, but we're going to rock with it, we're going to roll with it, and it's all going to turn out well. We made it this far, and we're definitely not quitting. So I thank you guys for watching. And so I do not forget, the winners of the DEBTOBER giveaway will be linked down in the description of this video, as well as in a community post. If you are tagged, please message me. My email is in the description of my channel, so you can actually claim your prize. I'm at least going to give people until the following week, so November 6th, to get in contact with me. If you don't during that time period, then I'll just pick a winner again and just keep going until all the prizes are taken. So there's 4 prizes, 4 winners. Thank you guys for participating. I will put their @names here as well. And I hope to see you guys next time in my next video. Have a blessed night, evening, day, wherever you are in the world. And catch you guys next time. Bye, guys.